Okay, so it looks like my stream crashed once again. Wow, I'm getting water everywhere. It's just water though. So my screen crashed. My stream crashed just a moment ago, and I think what's happening is that my phone's overheating. I can feel it. So I might have to like get a cooling system for my phone in order to keep it from overheating. Right now I have it on the charger. The charger actually has a built-in fan, and I believe that's to help keep the phone cool. The alternative would be it's there to keep the charger cool, because I'm sure the charger overheats. It's a fast charging dock. You can see it right over there. Let me get out of this. I need to get out of my little chat thing because that's no longer valid, I'm sure. I'm not going to take any chances, we'll say that. Alright, so let's go ahead and get back to my stream. One of the reasons why I use YouTube is YouTube creates an archive of all your streams if you choose, and that makes life so much more convenient. Let me go ahead and figure out what I'm doing. I need to go to... I am on Creator Studio, I think. Oh, there it is, Creator Studio. It's acting like I need to save something. Oops. I think I'm going backwards here. Alright, no, that doesn't really matter. I haven't really changed anything anyways. And I'm babbling. Alright, so let's go to Creator Studio. Let's go to Live Stream. Events. It says that I've got two different streams going on right now, which is a bummer. Because one of them I would prefer not to be going right now. Let's go to live control. I think there's a way to end the stream. We are not receiving any data. Help. I kind of want to end this because I don't want two live streams going. Live. Oh, here we go. Stop streaming. So, I've seen this before where it just kind of goes on its own and people are popping in there and there's nothing happening. You don't want two live streams going, I can tell you that right now. It's going to confuse people. Half your viewers are going to be on the other stream waiting for you to get started. And nothing's even happening. Alright, so maybe at that point, because I was trying to figure out what the video was going to look like. That's weird. Looks like something out of the Mist movie. Alright, so let me take a look. Creator Studio. Somebody's trying to act as if they just saw that. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and... I'm in there now. Let's go to the video. I just want to see... It only went for 14 minutes. I want to see where I left off. Because I can't tell when this thing stops, so I'm still talking, right? So I want to know what I've covered so I can get back to maybe kind of reiterate something.
Should be an affiliate link. I want an affiliate.
Yeah, I've got my affiliate link in here. Cool. Glad it's showing up in the description. It didn't before. Alright, so... I'm going to add that to all my videos. So let's go ahead and come over here to my channel. Videos. Let's just start with day one. We'll edit.
It's already registered.
registered. And add my affiliate link. I'm guessing this. I mean, this is something you're going to want to do as well. Affiliate link. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that for now. All right. So it basically stopped when I actually picked up the affiliate link, and I don't remember what I was saying afterwards. So if I repeat myself based on the previous video, I apologize if that's annoying, but when in doubt, I just repeat. Alright, so that's day one. I think there's an app, I think it's called vidIQ. When you use it, it'll allow you to update everything all at once, I do believe. But I don't know if it works with these 360 type stuff. Because when I stream with this camera, you use the software that Samsung puts together, and I don't think it integrates with the vidIQ, so I don't know. I'm confused. I've never done any of that stuff before. So I'm a streamer, but streaming on 360 is brand new for me, so I'm kind of learning as I go. Taking you with me. So that was day one. Day 3. I went to 3.2. That's okay. I'll just go and fix this. Try to remember where I'm at. So it's a form of advertising, you know. When somebody watches your video, they like what they see, and they want to get involved with you. They're gonna want to get onto your affiliate link, so that when they join, they'll be part of your team. And that's what these links are good for. That's what joining. If there's somebody you like anywhere on YouTube that's doing something like what you want to be doing, you know, you're going to want to make sure you use their affiliate link, their affiliate number, so that when you join that business, you'll be on their team. Right underneath them, like when I joined the KannaWay, I got a phone call the exact next day and had a conversation with my immediate upline. His name is Brian Horwitz. Hope I say his name right. Sorry if I butcher that name. I'll figure it out eventually. From San Francisco. Oh, he was a San Francisco giant, apparently. You'll see him on some of the KannaWay videos. So if you join my team, he'll be part of your team as well. He'll be part of your upline. And the beautiful thing about the KannaWay compensation plan, I'll show you this later, is that you'll be more important to him financially than I will, because on the deeper levels, the percentage that you get on a return of that is going to be higher than the higher levels under you. That's for anybody who's familiar with multi-level marketing. You kind of get what I'm saying, but otherwise you're probably going to be completely confused and won't have any idea what I'm saying, which is okay, because we're going to figure all that stuff out as we go. Just stick with me and you'll learn it all as we go. Day 3. Alright, you know, I'm thinking about like doing another affiliate program. So basically, one of my affiliate programs is Wealthy Affiliate. But I want another affiliate program. I don't know what it's going to be. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that. Raw detox hydrogen. I'm kind of a big hydrogen peroxide.
So today I want to talk to you about the golden magical secret of real, high quality, food grade hydrogen peroxide, also known as H2O2.
In terms of fake,
there's a big difference. You've got to pay attention.
The difference between real and fake? I mean, what's the fake version?
Okay, you got to try to get your hands on this stuff specifically, not this brand specifically, just H2O2.
I actually have food grade hydrogen peroxide. One of the things I can tell you about that is, I do know that there's bad stuff out there, stuff that isn't truly food grade, 35% hydrogen peroxide. And the way you tell is when you throw it in the freezer, the 35% true, 35% hydrogen peroxide will remain a liquid. Like you can look into the container and see all the way to the bottom, it's clear as water. Whereas the bad stuff is going to be, it's going to create kind of a sludge in there. That's how you can tell the difference. But we'll see what this guy's got to say. I'm kind of curious.
H2O2 food grade. So where I have,
He says
I
lose
find this
weight.
at my local, there's a local co-op.
Feel amazing.
There's one store in all my like area that I know of that sells it on the shelf. It's
If you guys are interested in what I've done, because I've actually documented 3 months worth of me doing this thing on a daily basis, let me know and I'll give you links to those videos to that. I believe I've got a nice little playlist for that. If you're interested,
like
you can see my journey into that.
I'm not saying they, as there's some sort of conspiracy against us, but what I am saying is if you go to any local drugstore, any like regular market, you're going to get 3% not food grade hydrogen peroxide. In fact, it's like toxic.
Alright, so that guy's not saying anything new. So what's he saying is, you know, your standard hydrogen peroxide, which I put in my ears from the pharmacy, is 3%. I don't know why he's saying it's fake, or he's kind of insinuating that it's fake by saying that 35% food grade is actually real, or something like that. I don't know, really get his point, but yeah, there are two different types, and you don't want to consume the 3% because it's got fillers in there, and we don't know what those fillers are. Whereas you get 35% food grade, you mix that with distilled water that you can get from Walmart for like $1 a gallon. That's what I have drank. That's what I did drink in the past. In drops, do not drink a huge amount of that stuff. It is poison. It will kill you. Put a few drops in a cup of water. If that's something you guys are interested in, definitely leave a message in the description. I can get that to you. You know, there's a protocol involved and all that. I can get you the protocol. I can get you all that information if that's something you're interested in. But that's not really what we're talking about. I use it for detox, just so you know. I'm kind of like health oriented, although it wouldn't seem that way. I'm getting back into that, getting back on the bandwagon for that sort of way of thinking. Alright, so let's go ahead and fix this current live stream, which is going, we're at 13 minutes now, so it's looking good so far. Cross your fingers. Let's come over here, day 5. Let's go to Creator Studio, live stream, events, and there I am. Let's go to, and this is, we're going to rename this to we're going to rename this Day 5.1. And we're just going to copy over the description I have for Day 5. I can find the darn thing. Sluggish. What is the problem here? I don't want to go to Creator Studio. Let's go to YouTube. See what that does. And let's go. No, I don't want to go home. I want to go to my channel. Videos. Maybe I should go to Creator Studio. Let's go to Creator Studio. No, I want to go to videos. I want to go to 5. you guys want to join me in a wealthy affiliate, and we want all this information right here. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know why I put the ear remedy in there. That was for day 3, and that was incomplete because my stream did crash on that. I will be picking that up again next Monday. Today is I don't even know what today is. Today's Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. This is the new year. I don't know why I have a period here. It's kind of goofy. And then I want my tags. Let's see. There we go. Got some tags here. I've only got 2 tags so far. And they disappeared. Nice. Man, I am so messed up. So I made some changes to that, and apparently that it never showed up. So, oh, there it is. I have 2 KannaWays, I'm sure. Need to get rid of one. Alright, so for tags, you can throw some, like I'm using KannaWay, KannaWay.com. Maybe I'll add MLM. I'm just kind of creating my tag list so that when somebody does a search for these terms, hopefully your video would come up. And when you, best way to do this is to create a text file, any text file whatsoever, and you add your tags. And you separate them with commas so that when you put them in here, it knows that you have, like in this case, KannaWay and KannaWay.com. If you don't add a comma in your text file when you save this thing, Control S to save, by the way, it'll just think this is all one big tag. So it'll say KannaWay. So if somebody types in KannaWay space KannaWay.com space MLM, then your video might come up. Otherwise, your tags aren't going to be individual like this, where it says where you have KannaWay and KannaWay.com, and in this case MLM. MLM for multi-level marketing. Maybe that should be another tag. Multi-level marketing. So I'm going to build my tag list as I start setting up my business. Multi-level marketing. You're also going to want your YouTube name in that tag. All these are separated. So I have KannaWay, comma, KannaWay.com, comma, MLM, comma, multi-level marketing, comma, and I'm going to add CannCoder. Eventually, I'm going to update all my videos as well with these tags. You're going to want your username on there. You want to kind of build up a... oops, I spelled that wrong. Here, instead of adding commas, you just type in the word and hit enter. When you're putting it directly into YouTube, your tags there. So that's something, and I'm also going to put wealthy affiliate. Wealthy affiliate. Want that in there. So we're going to start building up this list a little bit. This is part of that SEO everybody keeps talking about to help improve your exposure online. I mean, there's billions of people on the internet. Nobody knows who you are, where you are, or that you're talking about any of these things. These tags kind of help build up that SEO helps you create that web presence. Okay, so right now I have 0 web presence, and you'll see how all this stuff starts to snowball into a larger web presence. So when people are looking for things like multi-level marketing, home business, all right. When they start searching for these terms on Google, on YouTube, the chances of them finding your videos or your live streams or whatever, or even your blogs, however way you want to build this business, this is all up to you, is going to go up. Your chances of these people finding you are going to go up. And these people are interested in what you're selling. And if you're on YouTube, you're selling something. You're selling your channel. You're selling, obviously. Even if you're not monetizing anything, even if you don't plan on actually making money, you're still selling yourself. Because you're hoping that people will, you'll build the following, basically. Home business. All right. So you can see my tag list is building up. Eventually, I'm going to update all of my videos. When I have this, I think there's like 60 tags you can add depending on how long. There's a certain amount of words. I don't know how many words exactly there are. You'll know when they won't let you add anymore. So you just keep thinking of tags and you keep adding that in there. Stuff that you want to associate with your material. Affiliate. I spelled affiliate wrong over here. Affiliate. I'm sure I'm spelling it right there. It's 2 F's. All right. No, I put 2 F's on there. Okay, 2 F's. Affiliate, wealthy affiliate. All right, good. And I'm also going to add my website, CannCoder.com, but probably need to really use my CannAway.CannCoder.com. How about that? I want to expose my main link. I'm going to show you how I did all that too, eventually. So if you type CannAway.CannCoder.com, you'll see that in my description, but also as well. You'll go to the CannCoder website, except anything you do on that CannCoder website will include my affiliate link, which is basically my BA number. And, when you do this, you'll get credit for anything anybody does on that website, whether they're just purchasing product or they're joining your business, joining KannaWay, getting a license. And you'll get a percentage of everything they do, which is fair, People talk about pyramid schemes, and there's kind of a misnomer on that. An ignorant concept of what people have. They have negative associations with pyramids, and I'm going to show you how there's actually 2 different types of pyramids. There's your pyramidal structure, which is associated with everything, believe it or not. I mean, if you just think about it, right? Your government is a pyramid. You have one person at top, which is the president. You have a few people below him. Another larger group right below that. A larger group right below that. It's all, and the rest of us are at the bottom, right? It's a huge pyramid. You see that in business, same thing. You have a CEO, your top executives, which is right below him. your stores right below that, your managers at those stores right below that, and as you get to the bottom, there's more people. As you get to the top, there's fewer people, and the fewer people at the top are always making more money than the people at the very bottom. And there's a huge disparity between the two. That's a very powerful structure, so powerful that some people, and I'll show you evidence to this, some people actually feel like that's what the pyramids represent in Egypt. It's kind of a message demonstrating the most powerful organized structure known to man. But I would suggest that there's even more powerful structure, and I think I personally believe it is the multi-level marketing structure, which a lot of people associate with pyramids. You can say that, fine. I think it's more of a web, and I think of kind of like the internet, right? I think it's nodes that are connected to each other, right? I'm a node. Anybody that gets involved with this business through me, through my affiliate links, they're going to be their own nodes, and things are going to spread out kind of like a web. I've always thought that these structures are the structures of the future. There's a lot of new companies coming out that use this structure, and I think it's that way for a reason. And I'll get into all that, but for now, just know that I've read a book. Basically, when I first saw Amway, people were telling me it was a pyramid, and I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. They said pyramid. Finally, I found a book and I read it, and there's two different types of pyramids. As I was saying, there's this structural, organizational pyramids, which just about everything, it applies to everything, school boards, whatever, the PTA, everything is in the shape of a pyramid. And then there's the illegal pyramids, and basically illegal pyramids are just where people they get together and they just start playing with money. And I'll show you how that works. Basically, you have a group of people, they all give their money to the person who organized the group, this illegal pyramid, and that person gets free money for basically, and the idea is he's getting paid to organize things, right? Well, the way he organizes things is the first two people he talks to are going to be right below him, and then those two people need to go out and talk to and recruit two people themselves each to participate in this illegal pyramid. And as you start getting lower into the lower levels, it gets bigger and bigger, right? Because you start with one who recruits two, and each of those recruit two. So now you have 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you have 7 people, and then when it goes even deeper, things get even bigger. It gets bigger exponentially, and at some point, okay. I guess I need to go back. So basically, if I'm organizing it, I recruit 2 people. Everybody throws in $100. I get $300. When they go and recruit 2 more people each, the process starts again, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, one of these 2 people, I'll just decide who. Probably the first person I talk to is going to get the next cache of money, right? So when these 2 guys recruit their 2 people, everybody throws in $100. Not that person on top, he's out of it, right? He got his $300, he's happy. So the next person will get 4. He'll get $600. The next person gets $600, and then he's out of it. And so the third person who the original person talked to, the organizer talked to, is going to be next up. Right? And everybody who's involved at this point needs to go out and, including the person up on the pyramid, everybody needs to go out and recruit 2 people. And when that happens, everybody throws in the money, and the next person in line will take that money. And so, like, the people at the very top always make free money, basically. And the problem happens when things get so big, you get to a point where somebody in this structure cannot recruit two people. When that happens, the whole process just collapses. And so everybody who basically invested in the trying to get to the top of the pyramid and get their cash out loses whatever money they put into it. And the reason it's illegal is because the people at the top, basically the organizers, taking advantage of everybody, really. Their ignorance and taking their money for practically nothing. That's why it's considered an illegal pyramid. That's why it is illegal. And one of the best ways to when you see something like this, something similar, the best way to determine whether or not it's illegal is, one, there's no product. There's no product that's illegal, straight up. You're just playing with money, it's illegal. That is just the reality. Now, sometimes people will throw in a product, any product. Let's say it's lip balm. It's normal lip balm you get at the store. And then they're selling this for like $100, right? If it's a product that's so overpriced, it's ridiculous, that's an obvious pyramid scheme. Illegal pyramid scheme, I'm sorry. That's another way to determine whether or not something is legal. I mean, if it costs way more than what it's worth, than what the fair market value should be, it's an illegal pyramid scheme. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that's a good definition for most multi-level marketing programs because their stuff tends to be expensive. I would argue that, yes, the products that in most, like, let's say Amway, most of their products are more expensive than what you would get at the store. Let me tell you something about Amway. Amway, I've been in and out of Amway pretty much my whole life. I've made some money through it, but what always brings me back, I have to tell you, is the product. I miss the product. People say it's overpriced. I would generally accept that argument that it is overpriced, but it's not ridiculously overpriced. It's just more expensive than what you would get at, say, Walmart. But that all depends on how you value the product, right? It's not the same product. It's a different quality than what you would get at Walmart. Let's say, like, the laundry detergent. Their laundry detergent has no fillers. And right now, I got to tell you, I'm not in Amway. It was one of my considerations for doing this, but one of the things about Amway is they have very strict policies. I would hate to build up a business just to get kicked out of it because I was doing online sales inappropriately. They have a lot of rules, and if I'm going to be online, if I'm going to invest all my time, I want to be able to invest in something where I'm not going to get kicked out for, like, say, live streaming, what I am now. But anyways, going back to their product quality, these are door-to-door salesmen, by the way. That's, you recruit your family and your friends. That's how you build your business. People you know. And some people have a problem with it. I don't really see the problem. Hopefully you're not doing it wrong, I guess. Like, basically harassing people, trying to get them into your business and calling them idiots or disassociating yourself with your own family because they don't want to get involved in your business. That would be stupid and wrong. It's not taught that way. You're never going to have a successful anything by doing something like that. But again, the detergent you see at the store has fillers in it. Why? Because people associate size and price with value. They think that if you're getting a bigger bucket of something at a smaller a per pound, you're getting more per ounce than you would another product. You think that you're getting a better value. It's a mental thing, right? These marketing companies have figured this out. So they add fillers. So they give you a big old bucket, and really your active ingredient is small compared to what you're actually scooping and throwing into your laundry machine. Okay, those fillers destroy your clothes. Amway doesn't need any fillers. They have a loyal following, kind of a cult following for their product. They don't need fancy advertising on their box, which costs money. So what are they saying? They're saying like a high percentage of what you pay for a product goes into the labeling, goes into what the box looks like, the colors, scheme, and all that stuff. Amway doesn't need that because they have their customer base. It isn't going anywhere; it just grows. So I'm not worried about putting a nice picture on the box. It's pretty plain looking boxes from what I remember. All their products are very plain looking. They don't have any fillers, so you're going to see a smaller box. Darn thing lasts me and Kat like a year. I mean, it's not cheap. I believe it's like $50 or something. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's not cheap, but it lasts a year. So if you look at the overall value, that saved us money. If I had a neighbor who was an Amway, I would be buying product from them. But your neighbors aren't going to charge you the shipping and handling. You would have to pay if you ordered directly from the website. Same thing with the KannaWay products. If I have neighbors and friends who are buying the product directly from me, I'm not going to charge them shipping and handling. So, I guess my point there is, yes, the product is more expensive. And I would also argue, and I've done door-to-door sales. I've done door-to-door sales for DirecTV, for AT&T. I would argue that direct selling, when you sell directly to the customer, those products tend to be a superior product anyways. When somebody comes to your door with a vacuum cleaner, that vacuum cleaner is generally better than anything you can find at any store out there. It's going to cost you an arm and a leg, and you can usually talk them down, frankly. In that particular product, those products are overpriced, but are they ridiculously overpriced? Maybe. But the thing is, if I buy a lip balm, here's the thing, right? If I can get this lip balm at the local convenience store, which is generally overpriced anyways, for like 50 cents, and you're selling it to me for $100, I mean, that's cut and dry. But if somebody comes to my door with a vacuum cleaner, what value do I place on a vacuum cleaner that is better than anything I can find anywhere else? Like, I can't buy this thing online. I can't buy this thing at a store. I am only buy it from that particular person at this moment. What kind of value do you place on such a vacuum cleaner? If I'm willing to spend the money on that, if I'm willing to spend $1,000 on such a vacuum cleaner, I think that's fair value. I mean, and that's the thing, right? A lot of these multi-level marketing companies, you can't buy the product directly from the company or anywhere else. I know you can get it on eBay or whatever, but those people aren't using the proper channels, and they tend to get in trouble. for that because that goes against the Amway policy, and a lot of that's to protect the distributors. It's to protect the system that they have set up to promote the product. Because basically, they're cutting out a lot of middlemen and passing on the savings and bonuses to the direct distributor. KannaWay is a multi-level marketing company or organization. Their product is high quality. I haven't tried it yet. I got to tell you that right now. That's my disclaimer. I haven't tried it yet. I have product on the way. And I'll look that up. Let me go ahead and actually take a look. I ordered that. It's supposed to be a 7-day or something like that delivery. So I didn't do any, quick shipping or anything like that. You know what I forgot? What I've been forgetting to do here is pull out my my chat. I need to pop out my chat so I can tell whether or not anybody's actually talking to me. And I'm completely ignoring those people. And I don't mean to do that. I'm losing track. It's one of the things I like about streaming. It's kind of like working without realizing you're working. Time just flies by. Let's go to... I need to go live stream. I am on live stream. I need to go back one. Okay, I need to pop out my live chat. Alright, so there's nobody on there, so no love lost on that. I probably didn't say that right. Hey, look, there I am. It looks pretty good. Eventually, I want to get a higher quality VR camera setup, and it's going for longer. So I guess the cooling system on that charger is working pretty good. All right, so yeah, I kind of lost track of what I was doing there for a moment. Going on a segue. Is that right? I mean, I've used that word wrong. If I talk wrong, I apologize. But okay, so right now I'm just kind of going through Wealthy Affiliate. Again, if you guys have any questions or whatever, this is live stream, so definitely get into the chat. Pop out your question, and I'll answer it. Or if you're watching this as a playback video, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. So let's go ahead. I'm going to continue building my business. Right now, I'm on Wealthy Affiliate. If you want to join me on Wealthy Affiliate, you see the link in the description. Just click on that link, join, and you will be on my team. And I will work with you, answer any questions you have, and help you out. That's kind of the whole point of these, of Wealthy Affiliate, for one thing, and multi-level marketing systems. We help each other out, because basically I don't make any money, any real money. Like, I'll make money. We used to hear this saying in Amway a lot. They're not supposed to do this, but the organizations I was involved in were recruit oriented. They were there to recruit people and to buy from themselves. But I want to be more business oriented. My focus is to make money first through the product. I want to sell the product, make a profit. I don't want to say I don't make money till you make money, because that sounds ridiculous. I don't make any real money until you make money. You ever heard the saying, a rising tide raises all ships? Bill Gates became a billionaire by making millionaires. He brought people along with him. You cannot become a billionaire without creating millionaires. It just doesn't work that way.
15 years. Myself, I've been operating in this space and the online business world for 15 years, and I'm actively giving people help in chat every day. So something that you can look forward to. And yeah, that's generally speaking, that's the breakdown of the activity dashboard. You can play around with it and check it out for yourself. But that's the gist of that. So the next topic I'm going to just kind of discuss here is the getting help within the community, something that's very important and something that you should be very comfortable with as you move forward. There is a ton of help here at Wealthy Affiliates, and I'm going to break down the different ways in which you can get help.
Getting help at WA is everywhere. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh, the help is.
So there's several ways in which you can get help here at Wealthy Affiliate. Here I am on the first course of the training, of the certification. And if I click that and I head over here.
I want to have my chat out where I can see it.
You're going to see there's all the training, all the lessons down the right hand side. But if I keep scrolling, ask a question will pop up. I can ask a question there. Any question that I want, say, I'm on learning about the process of making money online, and I had a question about that. I could ask that there. Simply click add, and then it would actually be added down here to the comments.
He's talking about like any time, like I'm in the middle of a I don't know why I said certification. It's hilarious. I'm in the middle of a training course. He's talking about being able to go to the very bottom and just add a comment saying, "Hey, I don't get what you're saying about this or that or whatever." About comments. I don't know what you're saying about comments. And somebody will try to clarify that. What do you mean exactly? Probably, and you can have a discussion and
section.
Until you figure out what it is, and people are very helpful on here.
Someone will get back to me.
Similar
respond
concepts.
To me as they.
There's a story about a samurai who learned from master how to slice a cow carcass with his sword in one slice, right? Instead of having to hack away at it. There's a technique, right? He was a master, but he could only do it like maybe 2 out of 3 times, right? So he could do it most of the time, but not every time. And he was frustrated with the fact that he couldn't really do it every single time, like his master could. Well, one day he taught a student the technique of how to slice this cow carcass with one slice. And when he did, at that point he was able to do it every single time. And the idea is, when he taught it, he was able to I guess clarify is a good word, maybe. The concepts, the technique. It gave him the ability somehow to see it from a different angle. Because he's training somebody, don't do it like this, stand this way, hold your sword that way. He had to really think about, instead of just using muscle memory and just doing it, he had to think about a good structure of presenting the information to the student so that the student will understand what he's saying. Communicate. Conversation back and forth. And I think it kind of clarifies in your head the information. Maybe, like I said, you're looking at it from an angle you hadn't seen it before, and it's almost an aha thing, and now you're doing it every single time. Everything's like that. You're going to get a lot better at something by teaching it. This is very powerful concept that wealthy affiliates put into use. And so you have an opportunity here, something as simple as just getting started. There's some of these simple things people might have questions about, and you might have an understanding of what the person's having a trouble with, because you might have had the same problem and then you figured it out, and now you can help this person save some time, or keep them from being frustrated to the point where they quit, right? So kind of keep them in the game by helping them get through this particular obstacle, because you don't want somebody to quit because they couldn't even figure out where the training is or something like that. You know what I mean? Something simplistic. So you want, people. We're gonna come together. We're gonna help each other out. And like I said, by helping somebody with a technical problem, you're gonna understand that subject better, and it's gonna help you out. Wealthy affiliate. I'm looking at this, and it's basically trying to tell you that you don't need to be an IT expert in order to do this. Okay, just so you know. And that's what these classes are for. Just kind of like the whole concept behind wealthy affiliate is, how do you build and grow a business online? How does the average person on the street who has access to the internet build a business online and help it and grow it quickly, effectively, the right way, the best way, the most productive way? You know what? There's a Peterson. I'm gonna see if I can't find a Peterson video. Okay, this guy named Jordan Peterson is considered one of the smartest people ever. Man, I want to find that particular video. But he talks about, the guy's highly intelligent. Type in, do a search on Jordan Peterson. Just about anything he says is, high level thought concepts. He's a professor. Some would say he's one of the smartest men in the world. And he was talking about how, say, I forget what his example was. A group of electricians, right? A company of electricians, really. No one person in that company is going to know everything about the electrical business, technical side, or anything on that, or anything. No one's going to know everything about anything. So he was talking about how it kind of boggles my mind how things just work, right? Oh, here's one of the really good examples, right, of what I'm talking about here. He's got a name for it. Okay, so let's say you get a group of kids, right? So it's been shown that a group of kids playing, say, kickball or something, soccer, they know how to play the game as a group. But no individual kid knows all the rules. But they could still play the game because together, as a group, they know all the rules. So where one kid might be trying to do one thing that is against the rules, he's going to be corrected by somebody who knows that rule. And maybe you have more than one person that actually knows that rule, so he's going to be backed up by the other kid that knows the rule. Oh yeah, he's right. And so the consensus will be, You don't do it this way, you do it that way. You don't touch the ball with your hands, you touch it with your feet. As an example. Unless you're a goalie, right? So together, as a group, these kids can play the game, no problem. But if you separate each kid individually, no individual kid knows all the rules. I wonder, let me go ahead and type in Jordan Peterson. I wonder if I probably spelled soccer wrong. The Antidote of Chaos. Oof, man, I don't want to do search no 2-hour video for this. Pursue what is meaningful. Rules of the game. Maybe this is it.
There's a psychologist named Piaget. Some of you might know about him. Piaget was very interested in what happens to value structures and their hierarchical organization once they have to apply outside of the confines of a body. So here's a way of thinking about it. 2-year-olds basically hypothalamic. That's why they're so much fun. First they're happy, then they're sad, then they're hungry, then they're tired. You know, they just zip from one pretty straightforward and rather awe-inspiring motivational state to another. But at 2, they can't play. They can play by themselves, but they can't play with other children. They can't get that until they're 3. And they need to get it by the time they're 3, because if they don't get it by the time they're 4, they will never get it. And then you have an antisocial kid who's going to be an outsider for his entire life, and there isn't anything you can do about it. So that has to happen between 2 and 4. So what happens at about age 3 is that the kid learns how to play a game with another person. And what that game is fundamentally the development of the ability to share a frame of reference, which is what you're doing when you play Monopoly. It's like, it's stupid to play Monopoly, obviously. Who cares if you have a whole pile of counterfeit paper, right? But it doesn't matter, because the way you're constituted is that your brain will treat anything you act like constitutes a valuable goal as if it's a valid framework of reference. And if it couldn't do that, A, you couldn't abstract, and B, you could not get along with other people. So you can sit around the table and you can say, let's pretend that Monopoly is a reasonable facsimile of reality, which you wouldn't say, but it's what you mean. And everybody says, yes, that would be amusing. And so then you set your goal, which is to get all the little hotels and all the money, and poof, your emotions go along for the ride. And what's so interesting about that is you can get everybody into the game. And so one of the things that's really interesting about people is that we can establish a shared fictional frame of reference, and it organizes all our emotions so they're predictable. That's also why we can watch movies. You go to a movie, you identify the hero. You figure out what the hero wants, poof, you're the hero. And the way that works is, you don't look at the hero and think about what he's doing and evaluate it emotionally and then feel it. What you do is you specify the hero's goal, and then you map him onto your body, and you read off the emotional responses of your own body, and that's how you understand the hero. So it's embodied. You're using your embodiment as a computational device that can run simulations of other consciousnesses, and it does that with the body. And we like doing that. You can go to a movie and you're Brad Pitt for an hour and a half. And you're Brad Pitt doing remarkable things. And that's also how we understand other people. We're very good at that. So anyways, we have these shared frames of reference, like when we're playing Monopoly. Okay, so children at 3 learn how to play games. And that means they learn how to organize their own internal motivational states into a hierarchy that includes the motivational states of other people. And that means they can play. And that's what you guys do when you're out in the world. Like, we're playing a game right now. We all know the rules. That's why we can all sit in this room and play the game without fighting with each other. And the room is set up like a theater, and we all know the theater game. And the chairs are always facing this way at the moment, and so that's a hint that you should look forward, and this is raised, so, the room is basically telling you what to do, because it's a stage, like all rooms, and because you're smart and socially conscious, you can walk into a staged room, and your body knows what to do. And if you're civilized and social, you just do it, then all the other primates can predict what you're up to, and they won't kill you. Yeah, well, that's what it means to be part of the same tribe. You know, when people are very peculiar creatures, and God only knows what they're up to. But as long as they're playing the same game you are, you don't have to know what they're up to, because you can predict what they're going to do, and you understand their motivational states. And so, part of the building and constructing of higher order moral goals is the establishment of joint frames of reference that allow multiple people to pursue the goals that they're interested in simultaneously. And then what you have to think about with regards to that is that not all shared frames of reference can manage that. There's a small subset of them that are optimized so that not only can multiple people play them, but multiple people can play them and enjoy them and do it repeatedly across a long period of time. So it's iteratability that partly defines the utility of a higher order moral structure, and that is not arbitrary. It's an emergent property of biological interactions, and you might say, well, it's kind of arbitrary because people can do what they want, but it's not arbitrary at all, because a lot of what's constraining your games is your motivational substructure and those ancient circuits that are status-oriented. And they operate within virtually every animal has a status counter. Creatures organize themselves into dominance hierarchies.
This kind of goes into plugging into these multi-level marketing sales systems, your support system, right? Support system is always going to be very important to any sales operation, really. But in this case, Wealthy Affiliate would be a support system, one of the support systems. And KannaWay is also a support system for really where we're getting the product from, because we get our product from something called, let me see here. I think it's called like Medical Marijuana Association Incorporated, something like that, I think. There's KannaWay. Mm-hmm. Policies and procedures, marketing tools. I think it's interesting how a lot of these MLMs have they're very donation oriented. Let's go to the team, see what that says. Recognition, templates. Okay, so KannaWay is a marketing group for the manufacturer. I forget what the manufacturer's name is. I'm brand new at all this. I did my research. I found out that this is a business I want to get involved in. And I'm learning as I go. Okay, so you guys are basically seeing the raw, behind the scenes of building a multi-level marketing business. That's kind of like the whole point of this. As a matter of fact, I think you guys see me kind of bouncing around like this. That's kind of the whole point of this stream, so you guys can see what I'm doing. But one of the things I need to do right now, and I recommend any of you guys do once you start getting involved in something like this and trying to duplicate some of the stuff that I'm doing, which I highly recommend. Why am I called? YouTube. So I want to go to my channel, and I want to do what exactly? Customize my channel. And I want to add a description to my channel. If I can figure out how to do it. Add section. I don't know what that means. Add channels. Well, okay, so I can. Oh, here we go. Edit links. What does that mean? description right here. It won't let me change it. Oh, how do I change that? You have to go to Creator Studio. Channel. Sorry. Alright, so, featured content. Advanced. It's taking forever. Is it associated with another website? Yes. Let's call it KannaWay dot CannCoder. Now, you know, we talked about web presence earlier. One of the ways you're going to be able to increase your web presence is to have your website in more places. So the more places you have your website linked, like say your friend has a retail store and he has your a link to your website, that's going to increase your web presence. You know what I mean? So the more of that you have, the more people are sharing it on their Facebook, on their Twitters. The more your website is out there, the greater web presence you're going to have. And that web presence is going to affect the search results when somebody's looking for something similar in Google. Like let's say they're looking up multi-level marketing, they're looking up, in this case, hemp products. The chances of your website ending up at the top of that Google search are going to increase based on your web presence, which is going to be including how many links are out there in the world. Google collects all that information. So it says associated website. Of course, I'm going to add my website to that. It's pending. They want to approve it first. Make sure that it's whatever, maybe not porn oriented or something like that. Verify that I own it. What does that mean? How do I verify I own it? Okay, so maybe... Okay, let's go ahead and remove that for now. I'm just going to put CannCoder.com. Yeah, might as well, you know. Eventually, I'm going to have something associated with CannCoder.com. I don't have anything right now. How do I verify that I own it? Google should be on here, right? Where's Google? So I got this domain from Google Domains. Enome. It'd be funny if it would have been easier just to log into Enome and then be done with it, right? But I do not see. Wait a minute, what's this down here? Black Knight. I don't see Google Domains on here. That's kind of really weird. Oh, there it is. Google Domains. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Add a name record finally. Use your Google Analytics account. Alright, let me just go ahead and add this. I need to add a CNAME, label, host, and a CNAME. So basically I need to go domains.google.com. Domains.google.com. And it's my domains. CannCoder, DNS. So instructions are go to CNAME label host and add this. So let me copy that. CNAME label host. Okay, so host name, it's at the top. Ooh. That's not it. I think I need to do it here. Yeah, CNAME, add a CNAME, paste, or CNAME label host. Let's try this. And then destination target is this. Is that right? I don't know. Okay, let's do this. I got it. Okay, so the CNAME label host is this. So that's going to be over here to the right. And then the CNAME destination target. It's going to be this. I believe that's right. Let's see what that does. Name, data, CNAME. Let's hope that works. Let's see what happens with that. Click verify below. Let's try that. See if that works. We weren't able to verify your property. Well, it takes a while too for this stuff to update. I'm not sure I did that right. This is the CNAME, this is the domain. Let's try reversing that. Let's go and delete that. Domain monster. Nope, it's not it. If you type D, it goes to everything that's D related. It's not giving me a second chance, it looks like. Oh, Google Domains. Alright, so let's try this again. Add this text to your DNS configuration. What does that mean? Text record. Okay, so it's a text record. Add text. I'm supposed to put text here? See, this is what I don't get. There's two different spots for it. It doesn't tell you where to put it. It just says add the text record below to the DNS configuration. I want to go back to add CNAME because I think that's even more confusing. Label, destination, host, target. Let's just clear this out. F5. It says address. It says at. CNAME. Domain. CNAME. Name. Data. It's not easy. So name is the label indicating the name or owner of the record. This can be the root domain. It's the at or subdomain www. Data is the record's data, which varies depending on the record type. A host's IP for a record. Oh, so this is the host. Data is the host, I guess. So I got it right the first time. The CNAME destination. So this is the host, which I did place over here under data. According to this, that's the host. Domain name. That's my domain name. CannCoder. And this is the target. Man, this is confusing as heck. Why don't they simplify this? If they just say name and data, wouldn't that be easier? I mean, this is specifically for Google domains. Okay, so example would be A. And then the .com would be on the right. The .com is on the right, and then the data, see, this says .com too. Example.com. In this example, www and FTP are alias domains, and server1.example.com is the canonical domain. It's mapped to an IP using a record. Either one of these options is really confusing. Host, target. Label, destination. Google, if you're looking at this, it's obvious how complicated this is. See, it doesn't say label destination anywhere on here. It says, oh yeah, A is the name, the label. Name is the label. And destination is data. So this is the name. This is the label. Name is the label. So I did have that wrong. So that's the label. Name and label. So I haven't tried it this way yet, so I'm pretty sure this is right. Destination. Destination's going to be on the right side. Domain, right? Data. Yeah, the name, the label is over here. Let's hope that works. I'm going to give it a moment this time before I try to verify it. Okay, so there it is. The name came out right, I think. And the label is over there. Okay, so that's a C name. Verify that. That's a C name. It says right there, C name. Alright, so I think that's good. But I'm not in a hurry, so we'll just kind of give that a second to propagate throughout the internet. I believe that's right, though. I'm going to have to make a video on how to do that properly. So let's go back to
The
this.
reason they do that is because that works. It's a solution. It's a solution to the Darwinian problem of existence. It's not just an epiphenomena. It's the real thing. So your environment, fundamentally, a huge chunk of your environment is dominance hierarchy, plus God only knows where you are. And that's order and chaos. And part of the reason that people fight to preserve their dominance hierarchies is because it's better to be a slave who knows what the hell is going on than someone who's thrown screaming and naked into the jungle at night. And that's the difference between order and chaos. And we like order better than chaos, and it's no wonder. Now, we'll invite a little chaos in for entertainment now and then, but it has to be done voluntarily. And generally, you don't want the kind of chaos that upsets your entire conceptual structure. You know, you're willing to fool around on the fringes a little bit, but, you know, when the going gets serious, you're pretty much likely to bail out. And no wonder.
It's a lot of deep thought, you know, and this stuff is very MLM oriented, you know, sales oriented. It's really, this is what the idea is: sales, right? We're not doing door to door here. I might do a little door to door just because I know it's powerful. What I'm trying to do here, what makes what I'm doing different than what I don't think anybody else is doing, is I'm putting myself out there. So instead of like going door to door and interrupting your meal, you know, people are bumping into this live stream when they're browsing through and looking for content. So I guess in a way people are actually looking for this content, especially since my labels are very specific for what I'm discussing. So if you're doing a search for MLM or anything like that, you're going to find me. So you're kind of already wondering, you're already looking for that content. So you're basically coming to me instead of me coming to you. So this is kind of like the law of attraction, right? You're putting out your intent, and people who are interested in that are going to be attracted to what you're putting out. And I think your chances for building a strong team based on that are going to go up. Sales or team oriented. Any sale, like I used to work at a retail sales outlet where we sold electronics and stuff. You know, we did it as a group. We had team meetings every morning. We would be very supportive of each other. We would be paying attention to what other salespeople are doing, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. A lot of times if you see somebody doing something specific wrong, you know, an expert in that particular area is going to say, hey, you know, try it this way next time. And then that person will try it a different way next time. And whether or not they decide to use that person's technique that was taught to them is going to be based on whether or not it works, right? Or it works more often. than what he was originally doing. So yeah, this is all. It's a sale. It's going to be a little different in a live stream than it would be door to door, but it's all very powerful stuff, I guess you can say. You know, a mental exercise into how the world really works. And you need to know, in this case, you need to know the rules, right? In order to be able to play the game. Rule 7, pursue what is meaningful. Rules of the game. I thought it was going to be the antidotes. The antidote. Probably saying that wrong. Stop rotting away at home. It's more difficult to roll yourself. Why playing games is mandatory? That sounds pretty interesting. Rules for life. How to move forward in life.
Okay, here's the rats, and this is from Yak Panksepp's work. He was the first guy who figured out that rats giggle. And you might think, well, what kind of stupid thing is that to study? It's like $50,000 research grant for giggling rats, you know. But he discovered the play circuitry in mammals. That's a big deal, right? It's like discovering a whole new continent. There's a play circuit in mammals. It's built right in, so it's not socially constructed. There's a biological platform for that. And so what Panksepp would do with rats, he found out if you take a rat pup away from its mother, it dies. Even if you feed it, even if you keep it warm, it dies. Now you can stop it from dying by taking a pencil with an eraser on the end and massaging it, right? Because rats won't live without love. And the same thing happens to human babies. And we saw that in Romania when there was that catastrophe after Ceausescu in the orphanages, where the orphanages were full of unwanted babies because Ceausescu insisted that every Romanian woman was constantly pregnant. So the orphanages stacked up with unwanted babies, and lots of them didn't even have names. And they were warehoused. Warmth, shelter, food. Devastating. Lots of them died. Most of them died.
Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. I will suggest that this kind of goes towards whatever business you're building, whether it be just purely a website, you're going door to door, you're building videos, YouTube content, whether you're live streaming like I am. A business will not survive without love. Right? If you've never if you have no knowledge whatsoever or no experience in this type of activity, you're going to want to be with somebody who's got more experience, who's more successful, or who basically is going to be where you're at. I'm not it, right? But here's one of the powerful things about MLMs, right? I don't have to be successful to help you because I can plug you into people who are. My sponsor's doing well. His sponsor is, I think they were saying he was making tens of thousands of dollars a month. Okay, so I know I can get you in front of people who are super successful. And that's the value that I add to this enterprise. Also, you don't necessarily want to plug directly into that person. You're actually more valuable to that person where you're at. Because in this particular compensation structure, the lower levels have a higher percentage of I guess the best way to say is kick-ups. I say kick-up. We use that in sales terms. You know, you kick up a percentage of what you're producing to your upline. Most sales structures have that. And basically the whole idea is to provide an incentive for the senior salespeople to help out the lower salesman. If there's no incentive, why would I even waste my time? You know. Of course, you know, there's just the moral aspect, right? The moral aspect says, you know, I'm morally obligated to help less experienced people to be successful. But you got to remember, you're becoming my competition at the same time. So these sales structures are designed to reward senior salespeople who have more knowledge and experience. Reward them for helping the less knowledgeable sales associates, right? And you do that by, hey, you know, if I help these kids make a lot more money, you know, I'm going to get a percentage of that, so I'll make a lot more money, right? So that's sales. No matter where you go in sales, even retail. Kat was talking about, like, she doesn't want, she has a real estate license, but she doesn't want to do real estate because she feels like the whole thing's a pyramid scheme, right? Which, of course, everything. It's really hard for people to understand that there are two different types of pyramids. And the negative, what people associate pyramids with on the negative level are illegal pyramids, and they're illegal for a reason. And if you want to get involved in something, in anything, in a business, really, if you want to go into management, you're going to want to know the difference between a legal pyramid and illegal pyramid so that you can live with yourself at night, so you can sleep comfortably in the bed without feeling all this guilt that you're taking advantage of everybody that's below you. Okay? There are morally acceptable pyramid schemes and immorally unacceptable pyramid schemes. Okay? You need to know that there's two different types. It's a very powerful system for both criminal organizations and for legitimate businesses. That's why they're used a lot in both areas. But, you know, so she felt like the senior sales associates within the real estate environment are taking advantage of those people who are coming out. And, you know, she's brand new, so she would be the one being taken advantage of, but she doesn't understand that you can eventually become that senior sales associate and be benefiting from helping the less experienced salespeople do better, become successful, earn a living, be able to pay their bills, right? And that's, to me, that sounds fair. If that doesn't sound fair to you, what is the alternative? To get a job and just be happy that you're not taking advantage of anybody? You're not taking advantage of anybody because you're at the bottom of the pyramid. But I bet that's not how most people live. Most people want to advance, right? So if you advance in any kind of organization, you're moving to a higher level of that pyramid. And so just by being at that higher level, you're taking advantage of everybody below you according to your own logic. Of course, she wants to be a therapist now, so I guess as a therapist, in theory, you're not participating in a pyramid scheme, but I would suggest that you really are, because you're at the bottom of a pyramid that supports the government. You know, so everybody is going to be part of a pyramid scheme, no matter how you look at it. And if you want to talk about illegal pyramids, I think the government itself would qualify as an illegal pyramid because you're kicking money up. What do you get in return? Are you getting the same value that you're putting up when you pay your taxes? Is the product of the government, the price that we pay for it, fair? Or is it ridiculously overpriced? Heck, just being in a family situation, there's a pyramid there. You've got the patriarch, which is the grandfather, the matriarch, the grandmother, you know, all the love goes to the top, maybe. I don't know. You know, they're going to have greater authority. Like, you're going to value their advice more than somebody lower on that pyramid scheme, in that pyramid structure. So, you know, there's social pyramids. Pyramids are used everywhere for a reason. You know, I'm surprised. You know, Jordan Peterson actually talks about pyramids. Maybe let me go ahead and see if I can't find that, because I think that would be very powerful to add to the channel as a something to bring up every now and then. Kind of remind you that pyramids aren't always a bad thing. As a matter of fact, most of the time, pyramids are used by everybody without even realizing it for positive things. People actually believe in them and support them. Churches or a pyramid scheme. You know, if you're a deacon at a church, you're taking advantage of everybody, right? Because you're at the higher level of pyramid scheme. So, Jordan Peterson. I think the one I saw was talking about the Illuminati pyramid structure. There you go. This is the one. When he's doing the pyramid sign. All right, so I'm going to add this to my playlist. What now? What is this? Oh, here we go. Let the guy talk. Come on. I don't know. I guess they're trying to say he is the Illuminati or something. I don't know. It's just stupid.
More representations of God the Father. I like these representations. I like the triangle idea.
There's your pyramid
I don't know
scheme.
why God is wearing a triangular hat. It's kind of a strange fashion choice, but I think it's associated with the idea of the pyramid, and I think that's associated with the idea of the hierarchy of authority. And I think that's why the Egyptians put their pharaohs inside pyramids. I know there's more to it than that, but I think some of that has to do with the notion of this hierarchical structure. You see this on that. Now that's speculative, obviously, and I don't want to make too much of it, but I can't help but think that there's something to that. See, that's on the back of the American dollar bill. I like that a lot. That's like the Eye of Horus from the Egyptians. And so the idea here is something like, at the top of the hierarchy is something that is no longer part of the hierarchy. Right? So if you move up the hierarchy enough, what happens is that you develop the ability, as a consequence of moving up that hierarchy, to be detached enough from the hierarchy so you're no longer really part of it, and so that you can move in all sorts of different hierarchies. And the idea here is that the thing that you're really developing is the capacity to pay attention. And I would say, from a mythological perspective, the one thing that seems to compete with the idea of the spoken word as the source of the extraction of habitable order from chaos is the eye, is the capacity to pay attention. So Marduk, for example, the Mesopotamian creator god.
Paying attention, man, that is one of the most powerful things you can learn. And most people say, well, I know how to pay attention. They think that, but you don't. Most people have no concept on how to pay attention, and even those who have a kind of a concept of how to pay attention aren't very good at it. Most of us are not very good at it. If you become a master of attention, the sky's the limit. But I think the biggest obstacle here is going to be most people don't really understand what it means to pay attention. The focus, right? I want to check something. I know I'm kind of flying around here, and eventually I'm probably going to make a video that includes all this stuff in a structured way. Of course, this is all raw, right? This is a live stream of me doing things behind the scenes, and you know, this is what I'd be doing anyways. This stuff interests me. How to pay attention. kind of looking for a specific video of a guru describing what it truly means to pay attention. And I've seen it once. It was amazing. I wish I would have kept it somewhere. I can't find it anymore. How to focus. There's a lot of opinions on this stuff, but one guy really clarified it. I wish if I ever see him again, I'm gonna add that to the playlist. So keep an eye out for that.
Who emerged in the hierarchy of Mesopotamian gods and came out at the top, right? He was the victor of the gods. He had eyes all the way around his head, and he could speak magic words. And I really like that. I really like that idea. And the Egyptians developed that idea too, because their god Horus was the eye. Everyone knows the eye of Horus. That image is so compelling that we still know about. Everybody has seen the eye of Horus with a really open pupil. And what the Egyptians learned was that the open eye was what revivified the dead society. It's so smart. So what do you do if your life isn't in order? Bloody well pay attention. And that isn't the same as thinking. It's a different process.
Absolutely.
Paying attention, thinking is like the imposition of structure in some sense. I know I'm oversimplifying, but paying attention is something like watching for what you don't know. And so, like, one of the things I often recommend to my clinical clients if they're having trouble with a family member is, number one, shut up. Don't tell them anything about yourself. Just, and I don't mean in a...
That's the hardest thing in the world. We were having an episode... You know, everybody at some point in their life feels down on the dumps. And Kat was feeling really bad. And, you know, it was a critical situation. So I stopped everything. I sat down and I tried to, like, spend time with her and try to figure out what the deal was on that. And we, you know, it was so bad that I needed help. I couldn't do it on my own. So the one person that she spends most time with and has the most respect for, her mom, you know, I called her up and told her what was going on, and she was here right away, like that. But instead of sitting down and focusing, see, I kind of feel, this is why I felt that that phone call was like a mistake. Because when she got here, instead of focusing on Kat, she focused on herself. So it all became about her. And she just pushed Kat aside. And we just started focusing on her. And it's not that she doesn't love her daughter. I know she does. But she's overwhelmed too. She's got her own problems, right? It is really difficult for people to shut up and pay attention. Really, really hard. It's almost as if one of the concepts of really focusing and paying attention is kind of losing yourself, forgetting about yourself, having yourself practically non-exist, right? And we have a hard time lowering our status in the world. We always have to be the center of attention. We have to be the center of the world. It's like a psyche thing, right? And ego. To submit to somebody else's life is one of the hardest things you can possibly do. And if you can do that, then he's going to explain why it's so powerful. The sky's the limit. I mean, you don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. And the fact that there are other people in the world means that you can possibly use those resources, right? And why wouldn't you want to, right? That's why we are stronger as a group than we are individually. Because in a group, there's way more. It's exponentially stronger. It's not just like two people are twice as strong as one person. You're exponentially stronger because you're bringing, one person is bringing in wisdom that the other person doesn't have, experiences that the other person doesn't have, and you're working together for a single goal.
Rude way. It's just like, no more personal information. Number 2, watch them like a hawk and listen. And if you do that long enough, they will tell you exactly what they're up to. And they will also tell you who they think you are. And then you'll be shocked because they think you're something, generally speaking, that's not like what you are at all. And when they tell you, it's like a revelation to both of you. But attention is an unbelievably powerful force. And you see this in psychotherapy too, because a lot of what you do, and in any reparative relationship, is really pay attention to the other person. Pay attention and listen. And you would not believe what people will tell you or reveal to you if you watch them as if you want to know, instead of watching them so that you'll have your prejudices reinforced.
One of the things that we learn in sales is that the customer will tell you what you need to say in order to seal the deal. Like, let's say I used to work at Gold's Gym, right? And the idea was people didn't go out of their way to go into the gym to look. A lot of people say they do. I just want to check the place out. They're there to buy. And if they walk out without a membership, it's because of something that you did. You turned them off. They want... People are strange. They want an experience. And if basically they have a checklist in their mind, they don't even know it half the time. If you can check off enough of the items on that list, they're gonna buy. And once they make that decision, no one can change their minds. Like they call up their mom, say, "Hey, getting ready to join the gym." They might try to talk about, "Hey, that's too much. You don't want to pay that down payment. You don't want to pay that monthly fee. You're not in such. You will not be able to change their mind once they've got those items checked off. Once they've made that decision, there's nothing you can do to keep them from making the purchase. So what's that checklist? That's the secret, right? They will tell you what the checklist is if you just shut up and let them talk. And most people, they just want to be heard anyways. I think that is probably the most important message that I want to just kind of reiterate over and over and over again on the screen.
That's usually how people interact. It's like, I want to keep thinking about you the way I'm thinking about you, and so I'm going to filter out anything that disproves my theory. That's not what I'm talking about at all. It's like, I'm going to watch you and figure out what you're up to. Not in a rude way, none of that. I just want to see what's there. And that'll be good for you, probably, and also be good for me. And so, so that's the idea that, climbing up a hierarchy of authority can give you vision, and that vision can transcend the actual hierarchy. And I think that's also that's the metaphysical space that an artist occupies. Because artists really aren't in a hierarchy, they're outside of hierarchies. You've watched The Lion King, most of you? Yeah. That's Zazu, the little bird that's the eye of the king. That's the same thing there. So, and that's echoed in this idea as well. So that's some more ideas of hierarchies, same idea. This is, right, gold, silver, bronze. Why gold? Gold is the sun. Gold is pure, right? So the idea is that the thing that's at the top of the hierarchy is incorruptible, because gold doesn't mix with anything else, right? It's this sort of metal that doesn't ever become corrupted. It's a noble metal, it doesn't become corrupted. And so it shines like the sun, and it's associated with what's ever at the top of the hierarchy. And the gold medal is a disc, like the sun, and it's awarded to those people who've occupied the top position, and who are manifestations of the ideal. And here's I'll tell you a quick story. So imagine that you're watching an Olympic contest. I found this happens to me very often with gymnastics because the gymnasts are so absolutely unbelievable, you know. So you watch a gymnastic performance, and the person's out there bouncing around like, you know, you can't even imagine doing it. They're so perfect at it. So you see this person, they're going through this routine, they're just absolutely spectacular and flawless at it. You know, at the end they stop and everybody claps and they're all excited to see what a human being can do, and that's why we're in the audience watching, because we want to see what a human being can do. And the judges go like 9.8, 9.8, 9.8, and everybody's thrilled. And then the next contestant comes out and it's like, well, they're just basically screwed, right? It's like this person came out there and was perfect. How are you going to top that? That's an interesting question, because this is a representation of what you do to top perfection itself. And you can do it. And here's how you do it. And you know this, even though you don't know you know it. So let's say the next contestant comes out and they're kind of shaky because it's like, oh man, the bar's being raised high. So what they do is they put themselves right on the edge of chaos.
This is important. This is a demonstration of, okay, so you think, we'll use Amway example. We think of somebody like Bill Britt, who's a billionaire basically in the Amway business. It's hard to conceive of the idea of topping what he's done, because he built a really big business really fast. And so most people think, well, you know, there's no way. There's no way to top that. Of course, recently, there are people who have built businesses twice as big as his. Over and over. I mean, many of them. They're popping up all over the place, particularly in India. So, over and over and over and over and over and over again. People were twice as big as him. He's a crown ambassador, something like that. There are double crowns out there, and they're popping up everywhere. He's retired. He's not building up business anymore. He's not adding new legs to his business. He's focusing on building out. If he's still alive, I don't know if he is. Imagine he is. He's kind of older. He was older when I first saw this thing, maybe 20 years ago. So never assume that, you know, well, the market's too saturated, business too big. You know, you always talk about people who say, well, let's do this over here because over here it's brand new, nobody knows about it. You know, we're starting at the ground level, right? That's the big ploy that a lot of brand new MLMs use. We're at the ground level, and you can be a part of being on the ground level. Ground level doesn't mean anything. All right, chances are there's going to be somebody that comes in later. It's going to blow everyone away. You know, might represent 85% of the business. So, ground level argument, don't even forget about that one. People start going that direction, they have no idea what they're talking about.
And you can tell by watching them that they are one bloody fraction of a second from catastrophe. They're pushing themselves farther than they've ever gone in the direction of their perfection. And everyone in the room is so tense they can hardly stand it, right? You can hear a pin drop, and that person is flipping around, and it's just right on the edge of catastrophe. And at the end, they go like this, you know? And there's that gesture, the triumph that goes along with that. And everybody rises in one instant and just claps like mad. It's like, well, why? What are you doing? What are you doing when you're doing that? Right? You can't even help it. It grabs you right in the core of your being, and you stand up, and it's an act of worship. That's what it is. And you saw someone go beyond their perfection into the domain of chaos and establish order right in front of your eyes. And you're so thrilled about that. You know, you're happy to be alive, and everyone's celebrating it all at the same time. And it's an absolutely amazing thing. And that's what, well, sometimes that's what this represents, and sometimes that's what this represents. And that's what we're trying to get at, because that's at the pinnacle of the hierarchy, right? Not only are you doing what you should be doing, but you're doing it in a way that increases the probability that you'll do it better the next time you do it. And then you could say, here's another thing to think about along the same lines. And I know we haven't got to Adam and Eve yet. You tell your kids to play fair, right? You say, it's not whether or not you win, it's how you play the game. And you say that and you don't really know what you mean. You feel kind of stupid saying it even though you know it's true. And your kid looks at you like there's something wrong with you because he doesn't know what you're talking about either. But you know it's true. And so here's why it's true. Life isn't a game. It's a set of games. And the rule is, never sacrifice victory across the set of games for victory in one game. Right? And that's what it means to play properly. You want to play so that people keep inviting you to play. Because that...
So in other words, just because you won a battle doesn't mean you're going to win the war, sort of thing.
That's how you win. Right? You win by being invited to play the largest possible array of games. And the way you do that is by manifesting the fact that you can play in a reciprocal manner every time you play, even if there's victory at stake. And that's what makes you successful across time. And we all know that, and we even tell our kids that, but we don't know that we know it. And so we're not adapting ourselves to the game and victory in the game. We're adapting ourselves to the meta game and victory across the set of all possible games. And that's what that's exactly what, as far as I can tell, that's exactly what this is aiming at too. That's the same idea, that there's a mode of being that transcends the particularities of the localized contest. That's the other way to think about it. And to act morally is not to win today's contest at the expense of the rest of possible contests. And again, I don't see that as something that's arbitrary. It's not relativistic. There's an absolute moral stance there, and everyone recognizes it. And I also think it's the key to success. And I would also say it's very much a kit.
In sales, Amway, retail, Gold's Gym, the gym membership, whatever. They're gonna learn from the gurus, from the senior salespeople, the people who are really successful at it, been doing it their whole lives. They make a living off it. You're gonna learn that the success, the biggest key to success in any of these endeavors is rejection. Hearing no. The more no's you hear, the closer you're going to get to a yes. So it's a numbers game, right? Talk to 10 people, you're going to get 3 sales. If you're the type of person that's going to quit something because somebody tells you no, this is not for you. You need to stick with your job. Don't quit your day job. But if you're the kind of person who can take a no, and 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 a no. I've heard stories where somebody's taken in Amway took 100 no's, no problem, and after that just grew this hugely successful business. Never would have happened if they wouldn't have taken that 100th no, right? That's sales. And really, everybody's a salesperson, you know. Even if you go out and you get a job. I remember when I was working at Sony as an engineering technician, and we got a new guy. This guy had a degree in film, but he needed a job, and he had a stack of resumes. This is back right around when the .com crash happened. Anyways, about like 15 years ago or something. He had a stack of resumes, and he sent them out everywhere. He got a lot of no's for months. It took him 6 months, according to him, to find a job. He, got a job with us. That's sales, man. You're selling yourself to a company. You're selling yourself to the hiring director or your future boss. You're basically trying to hit as many items on that person's checklist as you can. And again, just like with any sales, anything in sales, you can figure out what those items are by shutting up, closing your mouth, and listening to what the interviewer is saying. They will tell you what you need to say in order to seal a deal, to close the sale.
In a strange way, like the person who is the master at being invited to play the largest possible number of games is also the same person. I haven't quite figured out the precise relationship between these two, is also the same person that goes out forthrightly to conquer the unknown before it presents itself as the enemy at the door. They're the same thing. Now I haven't figured out why that is exactly, but well, I'll figure it out eventually, and when I do, I'll tell you, well, if you're interested. So, okay, so here's some other ideas of God as hierarchical authority figure. So strip the religious preconceptions off what you observe and just look at what you see. Well, look, there's primate looking upward at dominant figure. That's what you see there. Now, it's very interestingly symbolically represented because you have God the Father there with the cross. And I think what that means, as far as I can tell, is that there's a recognition there in the image that the person who's most dominant is the one who's, or has the most authority, is the one who's voluntarily accepted the suffering that's part of being. And that's what that picture represents. It's like the authority holds that, says this is what you have to accept, and that transfixes the viewer because of the fact that it's true. And you think, well, is that true? Okay, well, think about it this way. Do you like brave people or do you like cowards? Well, that's pretty straightforward. And what's the ultimate act of bravery? It's to come to terms with the fact that you're mortal and limited, and to live forthrightly regardless. Well, obviously, that's at the core of what's admirable. And why would we presume that that's not the case? We act as if that's the case. It's what everyone dreams and wishes that they could do. I mean, assuming that you dispense with the idea that you're going to be immortal. I suppose that might be worth wishing for too, or perhaps not. Immortal is a very long time. But you certainly want this, and that image says, well, this is what you should be. And we've got that same opening into the sky going on in that image that I showed you before. It's like this is a transcendent truth that constantly remanifests itself across time and space. And Jung would say, it's built into your psyche, that image. Now, there are elements of it that are culturally constructed. It wouldn't necessarily have to be the cross, although the cross is a very old symbol. It's far older than its use in Christianity, and it's been used in many, many religious representations. But that echoes, the soul echoes with that. And then there's Moses up there on the mount receiving the law. And so we'll talk a lot more about that when we get to Exodus. But if we get to Exodus. So, well, look, where does it happen? Well, on a mountain. Well, that's a pyramid. That's up, right? That's up. It's up. It's up in the stratosphere. It's up in the sky where you look upward. Okay, and then so what's happening to Moses? Well, here's a bit of a clue, as far as I can tell. I figured this out partly again by reading Jean Piaget, because one of the things that Piaget said about kids was that they first learn to play a game, but they don't know what the rules are. Meaning that if you have a bunch of kids together, they can play a game, but
This is the analogy